Let's talk about this thing they call the simulation, as well as these labeled gang stalkers. Interesting is, my little kids. All of what you see is an illusion. It ain't easy to bite down on that, nor chew it. This here is a simulation that was purposely ran so those who were meant to walk into the heavens would naturally do it. Right? When you know so much, it's not easy to start. So one has to start right here. The simulation. We as God and goddesses have ran a simulation on those who were not like us so that they would earn the heavens naturally. Without the knowing or pre-knowledge of it being a simulation ran to test them, to see if they deserve to walk into the heavens, never suffering death, at least the second one. And or receiving the lake of fire. Interesting is, the soul is the only thing capable of never experiencing death. However, in the end time which we are in, it has somewhere it has to go, depending upon its ways, depending upon its word of thought, the seed to creation, depending upon the word that comes out of his mouth, depending upon the deed, which is the word as well. All three are the same word. Whether you think it, whether you act it, or whether you speak it, you are still the same word. Gang stalking. It's a worldly title, a worldly label. Damn near make you think that they're stalking gang members the whole time. What they're stalking is gods and goddesses. We came here to give them an opportunity to be where we are, to walk into forever and never suffer the second death. We died to the flesh. Never was Jesus Christ, never was I sacrificed nor hung on a cross. One mastered ascension at 33 years old. One ascended at 33 years old and mastered ascension at 49, breaking what they call the Jubilee cycle. It's impossible for Christ to have ever suffered this death that they speak of, let alone the crucifixion. Interesting is, we crucify the desires of the flesh. The body is the cross. It is the one we carry. It is your secret enemy. It is the one who wars against the spirit. We war not against flesh and blood, but powers and principalities, against spirits. Worldly not. All is spiritual. All is biblical. Interesting is the eyes of the beholder. Something about the simulation that most people don't comprehend. They think that people are suffering. They are in illusionized uh, illusions of suffering and perishing. The reality is quite different for those who ascend. The physical into the spiritual. So from the flesh into the spirit, we die the first death, we never suffer the second death. The firmament, which has got everything but holding the simulation together, will be coming down shortly. And those who are not heavenly, who do not match the God body frequency, will perish, will fade away, will suddenly disappear. Two will be walking in the field and one will disappear. Two will be laying in the bed and one would disappear. I've been gang stalked to extreme levels, feared death over and over again by family members who claimed they love God, but were scared of the one who threatened the flesh, but not the one who could separate the spirit from the soul. Everything I thought I knew, every family member, every so-called friend, every associate, all had knives to attempt to stick in my back. I am a conqueror of death. I am the creator of wisdom and magic, and so much more. I am he who was, he who is, and I am he who will always be. I binded these powers and principalities that the sorcerers, the warlocks, the witches, the magicians play with. No longer does it have death magic. I war with demons and devils my entire life. However, it doesn't want to war with me no more. I watch all these gang stalking videos, and it's interesting to see how they stalk my people. But they disappeared from stalking me. They hide in shadows now again, scared, not knowing because they fed me death so many different times. They poisoned my food. The Holy Spirit told me the first time they put death in your food. This is before I knew my identification. This is before I knew my true identity. The Holy Spirit said they're about to feed you death. Pray on your food and eat every bite in their face. I won't name the individual. I'm always, that's neither here nor there. I went out with these people again, knowing they fed me death the first time. On my way to my birthday celebration, I heard the Holy Spirit tell me again, they're going to feed you death again. Eat every bite in their face. This is when I paused and asked the Holy Spirit, why do you keep letting these people feed me death? And the Spirit literally told me, I want them to know who you are. Again, I did not know who I was at that time. It only takes so long for you to figure out who you are, because you are one who conquers death over and over and over again. Interesting is, they all portrayed to be people of the light, claim to be godly people, claim to love Jesus more than life itself. The whole time they was feeding Jesus death, not knowing he's Jesus. Again, I warred with warlocks, sorcerers, witches, magicians, and anything that thought it could play with magic. You know, this is something like a Neo situation. When you're awoken, everything that can be used by this system is used by it. Usually the people who try to downplay what you say when you bring it up. You bring up the fact these people are stalking you. Normally these people are always in your corner. This is how you find out who's who. You talk about it. You bring it to the open. I've been stalked since I was a child. From the moment of conception, the moment I was conceived, that these people knew exactly who I was. I don't believe the family that I was raised with was my family. I believe I was one who was switched at birth and placed with a low frequency vibing family. I had no parental guidance, no father figure, no mother figure, a prostitute for a mother. I don't judge her. She's deceased as we speak. The heavens asked me after I seen all of her witchcraft and her aiding in the bed and the opposition. Where would I want her to go? To heaven or hell? Immediately I say heaven, because I judge not. I am unconditional, non-judgmental loving. And so my mama, the mother who raised me, will always be in heaven, no matter her dealings with the devil. You know, I'm always about conquering the devil and taking away what he thought he could hold on to. If you hold on to him, it won't be because of me letting them go. It will be because they let go. And they couldn't hold on to themselves. Nor war with the demons that were willing to take them to hell. You see, if you can't whoop your own demons, you're going to the lake of fire. I spoke up on hell, but let me tell you something about hell. Hell is just a holding cell in comparison to the lake of fire, where one would be tortured for eternity. Your flesh will burn forever. Never will one take a break. Never will one ever find relief. This simulation looks like you're dying. however you're being awoke. Now I say this, when you go to bury people, you go to their funerals or before the funeral, they're awake, they call it an awake, right? This person is awake now. And the people who are burying this person who's supposedly dead are more deader than the person who is in the casket. Interesting is, my little children, this thing you call a simulation. In fact, we as God and goddesses, we're running a simulation on those that ain't really like us. They not like us. They're not melanated, carbonated. They don't go with the sun. The pale ones is who I speak about, the hairy barbarians, the Caucasians that came from the Caucasus Mountains. The prophecy over their head is that they return to the caveman days, back to the caves from which they dwelt, never to come out of darkness. And I have to bring this up now because they always say God judges you. Well, interesting is, everywhere I look, I see God and Goddess. There is not one who doesn't fit the description that's fitting for all. God and Goddess. So when they say God judges them, interesting, I would like to say they are the God that judged what looks like someone on the outside of you, when in reality, you're the only one there. Mirrors will always forever reflect. What you seek will always seek you. So in the seeking of the demise of those they like to call chosen, but I'm like to tell you that there's not one chosen soul here. That each and every one of us chose this. There's not one more special than the other. We are all fitting for the same description. How I look upon myself, I must look at all. I must hold all in the same light. I can't see one as less, no one as more. This simulation is coming to an end. And all those who oppose the heavens will suddenly bear witness. I know they said Jesus Christ was coming from the sky. Interesting is, you can't believe everything you read, nor hear out the mouth of people. For everything is a half truth and a half lie. You know, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. The flesh looks real, and the spirit you can't see. However, what you can't see will be more real than everything that you can see. What's in you is greater than anything you could ever see outside of you. Greater is he who is within. Consciousness can never suffer death. Consciousness can never be threatened. Consciousness will always exist. Consciousness cannot perish. Consciousness cannot be threatened. Can't be harmed. Can't be opposed. These are all things they taught you about a false identity, the flesh. something that isn't real, as well as darkness itself, is but man's ignorance of his true self. These so-called gang stalkers, Illuminati's, these groups they put together, the 33 Masons, the Eastern Stars, these 13 families that run this world, or assumed they were running this world, will only manifest in its own demise. They call them the elite. Interesting is, you elite at manifesting in everybody's demise, because what would you be elite at if all it ever led to was you losing your essence, your soul, in the midst of a simulation that was only being simulated and ran on you to see who you were going to be, if you naturally deserve the heavens or you naturally deserve the lake of fire. You're in the torturing people, tormenting them, playing with army tactical energy weapons, magic from warlocks and witches. I had everything on me. Everything. Sex magic. I couldn't keep my thing out of my hand. They got videos of me with trying to shame me, but you can't shame what I am. What I am is not the body. What I am will always be. I judge not myself. However, I know myself, so I control myself. Nothing external can control me. That in which I am, all are so meant to be. Simulation. It's but an illusionized state where all that appears to be real is but an illusion. All that you believe that happened to you is but a lie. Again, consciousness can't be altered, can't be tampered with, can't be confused. We draw from the original state of source. The rest ain't real. And so we don't let nothing take us outside of what we know to be real. This can go on forever because I have infinite wisdom. And I don't mind talking. I don't mind enlightening you because I see so many people being stalked that seem to be so scared. I ran multiple businesses out of one moving truck. So I definitely had my cake and ate it too, where I was able to take care of families and never call upon them for help. Here it is, I'm without my businesses, without my truck, and I still won't call upon them for help. It is those who oppose me who are calling everywhere to find help. Because when they pull their guns on me, nothing works. I obsolete all your worldly weapons. Your guns don't work. They tried to blow up my truck. The bombs don't work. They're terrified of me. I walk around in his face. They're scared because they don't really know. Some of them don't know who I am. Others are finding out because they know they fed him death. And he's known to eat the death and walk around the masses as if nothing happened. Interesting is, somehow I'm aging backwards. God body, gods and goddesses, kings and queens, writers in any reality that we choose. We chose this. We are not the chosen. The chosen don't even exist. We chose this as gods and goddesses. It is time for all to wake up and remember who you are. Without the script that they gave you in these falsified religions, telling you that Christ suffered death. It's impossible. One's been here many times outside of Jesus Christ. Thousands of times have I been here, and every time I descended into darkness without the knowledge of my true self, have I always ascended into that in which one truly is, with the knowledge of my true self. I stand in full power and all dominion. Nothing can oppose me. All that attempts to oppose me crumbles before me. Interesting is, this is an unlimited conversation. This is going to be a common, open-ended conversation with God. You are not alone. Those who are awoken will soon be in full possession of the memories. Wisdom is your true power. The knowledge of one's true self, how to control everything about yourself. We seek not to control others. We judge not others. We are always unconditional in our loving. We don't damn each other. We don't damn no one. We're not here to damn them, but to uplift them. The very ones who stalk us are the ones we truly came to save. Interesting. How easy it will always be to love the one who always loves you and never stabs you, has a trick to trick you with. It's the one who falls asleep, forgetting who he is and fighting you. believing that it's your opposition, when in reality, the only thing it can ever oppose is itself. It lacks the knowledge of itself, and so we call that sleep. Interesting. I have so much to say, I almost don't want to stop. But I'm getting tired of holding my arm. I love each and every one of you without conditions, without judgment. No matter if you tried to stick a million knives in my back, no matter if you fed me death a million times, no matter if you're the warlock, the witch, the sorcerer, the magician, any of those who push magic upon me. Again, I fought with demons, devils, powers, and principalities. No longer do they have their powers to play with these principalities, these witches playing with demons, these warlocks using spirits, these dark entities they call on from below. For all of its magic, all of its death that it called upon will now wipe out its whole entire bloodline for each and every one who opposed me. Your whole tree will be plucked up by the root and cast into the eternal lake of fire as if you never existed.